Sarah woke with a gasp, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. Sweat clung to her skin, cold and clammy. The nightmare again. The sterile white corridor stretched endlessly before her, lit by flickering fluorescent lights that buzzed like angry wasps. The air hung heavy, thick with the metallic scent of blood and disinfectant. A low moan echoed from the shadows, sending shivers down her spine. Each breath felt like a struggle, her lungs constricting as if an unseen force pressed down on her. She knew this corridor, knew the cold touch of the metal railing beneath her hand, yet she couldn't place it. A name rose to her lips, a whisper lost in the suffocating silence. Amelia, she breathed, the name unfamiliar yet strangely familiar. The shadows at the end of the corridor stirred, and she bolted upright in bed, the echo of the dream clinging to her like a shroud. 30 years. 3 decades of her life had passed, and yet the nightmares persisted. Tonight, however, felt different. The dream clung to her with a ferocity that sent a tremor through her very being. The face of the woman in the shadows, obscured by darkness, seemed closer, clearer. As the clock struck midnight, a wave of dizziness washed over her. Images, fragmented and sharp, flooded her mind. A cold, metallic table, a blinding light, a searing pain that ripped through her body. She gasped, collapsing to the floor, the weight of 30 years of suppressed memories crashing down upon her. When she finally came to, a single terrifying truth resonated within her. This was not just a nightmare. This was a memory. Her past, buried deep within her subconscious, was fighting to resurface. The woman in her dream, Amelia, was not a figment of her imagination, but a key to unlocking the secrets of her past. Days turned into weeks as Sarah grappled with the fragments of her forgotten life. She scoured old newspapers, delved into historical archives, searching for any mention of a hospital like the one in her dreams. Her research led her to the abandoned Blackwood Sanatorium, a facility with a dark and troubled history. As she stood before the imposing structure, a sense of déjà vu washed over her. This was the place. She knew it with every fibre of her being. She stepped inside, the air thick with the scent of decay and the weight of forgotten suffering. And it was there, amidst the crumbling walls and rusted medical equipment, that the truth began to reveal itself. Blackwood wasn't just a sanatorium, it was a front, a clandestine facility where unethical experiments were conducted on unsuspecting patients. Patients like her, like Amelia. The nightmares that had haunted her for so long were not random occurrences, but suppressed memories of a past life. A life where she had been a prisoner within these very walls. The more Sarah unearthed about Blackwood, the more she felt an unseen force pushing back, trying to keep the past buried. Objects moved inexplicably in her apartment. Whispers followed her in the silence of the night, chilling her to the bone. It was as if some entity tied to Blackwood was trying to stop her from remembering. One night, while poring over old medical records she had salvaged from Blackwood, she stumbled upon her own file. The name on the file sent a shiver down her spine. Amelia Green. Below it, in neat, cursive handwriting, was a single, chilling sentence. The subject possesses a unique resilience to memory manipulation. Further experimentation required. The truth hit her like a physical blow. She wasn't just remembering a past life, she was reliving it. The nightmares, the suppressed memories, the entity that haunted her, they were all connected to the experiments conducted on her in her previous life as Amelia. And the entity, whatever it was, wanted her silence. Fear, primal and suffocating, threatened to consume her. But within her, a newfound strength began to take root. She had spent 30 years running from her past, haunted by shadows she didn't understand. No more. She would uncover the truth of Blackwood, of Amelia Green, of the entity that sought to bind her to silence. She returned to Blackwood, not as a victim, but as a warrior facing a long-forgotten enemy. The air crackled with unseen energy, the presence of the entity almost tangible now. But Sarah refused to be intimidated. She would face her past, confront the entity, and reclaim the life stolen from her. The echo of eternity reverberated within her, a promise whispered across lifetimes, a vow to remember and to fight. The battle for her past, for her very soul, had begun.